A pizza box drops to the wet pavement as Jack Miller's eyes lock onto the masked figure dragging a screaming 8-year-old boy into a black van. Without hesitation, Jack abandons his delivery bike and sprints toward them, his movement suddenly precise and lethal. In seconds, the kidnapper lies unconscious, and the boy clings to Jack, trembling. Who is this pizza guy? The fluorescent lights of Boston's downtown precinct buzz overhead as Alexandra Blackwood sits rigid in the interview room, her designer blazer contrasting sharply with the dingy surroundings. As CEO of Blackwood Technologies, one of the East Coast's fastest-growing cybersecurity firms, she's accustomed to commanding boardrooms, not waiting anxiously in police stations. Her manicured fingers drum on the metal table as Detective Ramirez explains the situation again. "Your son Ethan is safe, Ms. Blackwood. The kidnapper is in custody. We're just waiting for the man who intervened to finish his statement." Alexandra's voice remains cool despite her internal turmoil. "And you're certain this delivery person isn't involved somehow? The timing seems suspiciously convenient. We've checked his employment records. Jack Miller's been delivering for Pronto Pizza for 8 months. No criminal history. Several co-workers vouch for him." Alexandra's skepticism doesn't waver. Too many coincidences feel calculated in her world of corporate espionage and high-stakes government contracts. Her gaze drifts to the two-way mirror, wondering if her son's rescuer is on the other side. The door opens and Jack enters, tall with a lanky frame, faded jeans, and a worn leather jacket over his pizza uniform. A 3-day stubble frames his face, and a small cut bleeds above his right eyebrow. His eyes, however, seem oddly alert, scanning the room in a swift, practiced motion that doesn't match his delivery guy persona. "Mom!" Ethan breaks from the social worker's grasp and rushes toward Jack, not Alexandra. The boy wraps his arms around Jack's waist, his small face lighting up with admiration. "He saved me! He did cool ninja moves like in my games." Jack awkwardly pats Ethan's shoulder, clearly uncomfortable with the attention. "Hey, buddy, your mom's over there." His voice is quiet, deliberate, with a calm that seems out of place for someone who just thwarted a kidnapping. Alexandra rises, straightening her blazer, a defensive gesture she's perfected through years of being the only woman in rooms full of tech executives. "Ethan, come here, now." The command in her voice is unmistakable, the same tone that's closed million-dollar deals and silenced boardroom dissenters. Ethan reluctantly obeys, glancing back at Jack with undisguised hero worship. Alexandra notices this transfer of allegiance with a pang of both gratitude and jealousy. "Thank you for helping my son," Alexandra says stiffly, extending her hand. "I understand I owe you a debt of gratitude." Jack's handshake is brief, his calloused fingers rough against her smooth palm. Anyone would have done the same. "No," Detective Ramirez interjects, opening a manila folder. "They wouldn't have. The kidnapper had a knife. Our pizza man here disarmed him with skills we don't typically see in civilians." The detective eyes Jack with professional curiosity. "Care to explain how you took down an armed man twice your size without a scratch?" Jack shrugs, his expression carefully neutral. "Adrenaline, I guess. Fight or flight." Alexandra's eyes narrow. "And where exactly did you learn these skills, Mr. Miller?" "Watched a lot of action movies." The corner of his mouth twitches, almost a smile, but not quite. "He's lying," Ethan pipes up, eyes wide with excitement. "He knew exactly what to do, and he has a tattoo like soldiers have. I saw it when he was fighting the bad man." Jack subtly tugs his sleeve down, covering his wrist. The movement doesn't escape Alexandra's notice, a deliberate concealment. "We still need to understand why Ethan was targeted," Ramirez continues. "Ms. Blackwood, anyone who might hold a grudge against you or your company?" Alexandra's mind races through competitors, disgruntled employees, recent layoffs. "We're launching a major government security contract next month. There are several parties who'd benefit from delaying that launch." "Your son mentioned something about the kidnapper asking about access codes," Ramirez notes, his pen hovering over his notepad. Jack, who has been silently observing, suddenly speaks. The man had a Ukrainian accent, subtle but there, and his watch. Vostok Komandersky, Russian military issue. He catches himself, falling silent under Alexandra's suspicious glare. And you recognize this?" "How?" Alexandra demands, leaning forward slightly, her CEO instincts sensing inconsistencies in his carefully crafted pizza guy narrative. Internet rabbit holes. I read a lot in between deliveries. Jack's eyes don't quite meet hers, a micro-expression of concealment that Alexandra, trained to read negotiation partners, immediately recognizes. Ethan tugs at Jack's jacket. Can you come see my room sometime? I have all the new Defender Force action figures. Ethan Miller is very busy with his pizza deliveries, Alexandra interrupts, placing a protective hand on her son's shoulder. Besides, we'll be increasing security at home. No visitors for a while. But Mom, no arguments. Alexandra turns to Jack with a forced smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Thank you again for your assistance. My assistant will contact you regarding a reward. Jack shakes his head. Not necessary. I insist. Alexandra's tone makes it clear the discussion is over. Now, if you'll excuse us, I need to get my son home. As they turn to leave, Jack calls out, Ms. Blackwood, whoever arranged this, they'll try again. The man I stopped was just a hired hand. Alexandra pauses, her back stiffening. And you know this because? Jack hesitates, then simply says, experience. Her eyes lock, mutual distrust mixed with an uncomfortable recognition that they need each other. Alexandra breaks the gaze first, ushering Ethan toward the door. Jack, you forgot your hat, Ethan calls out, grabbing the Pronto pizza cap from a chair. As Jack reaches for it, his sleeve rides up slightly, revealing the edge of a tattoo and a jagged scar. Alexandra catches the glimpse, her journalist daughter instincts flaring. This man is not who he claims to be. And yet, he saved her son. Alexandra works furiously in her home office, 3 screens displaying security camera feeds alongside complex code sequences. The kidnapping attempt has accelerated the government contract timeline. Now she must deliver the security protocol in days, not weeks. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, eyes burning from hours of concentration. A soft knock interrupts her focus. Miss Blackwood, a Pronto pizza delivery at the gate, her security chief Roberts announces. Though we didn't order anything. Alexandra tenses, fingers freezing mid-keystroke. Who ordered it? The driver claims Ethan placed the order online, used your account. She sighs, pinching the bridge of her nose. And who's delivering? The same guy from the other day, Miller. Her eyes dart to the security feed showing Jack waiting at the gate, pizza box in hand, his delivery scooter parked behind him. He stands patiently, his posture relaxed yet somehow alert, eyes constantly scanning his surroundings. Let him through, but escort him directly to the kitchen. And get Ethan down here. Minutes later, Ethan bounds into the kitchen, face lighting up at the sight of Jack. You came. I knew you would. Alexandra enters, arms crossed. Ethan, we've discussed ordering things without permission. But Mom, Jack is cool, and I wanted to show him my room. Ethan's excitement is palpable, his loneliness in their massive estate rarely broken by visitors. His mother approves. Jack sets the pizza down. Sorry about this. I can leave the pizza and go. A deafening alarm suddenly blares through the house. Roberts rushes in, hand on his holstered weapon. Perimeter breach, east wall, he shouts over the alarm. Alexandra grabs Ethan. The safe room, now! Jack's demeanor transforms instantly. Gone is the casual pizza delivery guy, replaced by something harder, focused. How many entrances to the house? 4, plus the terrace doors, Roberts answers, registering something familiar in Jack's authoritative tone. Your security team? 3 men spread across the grounds. Jack's eyes flick to the security tablet in Roberts' hand. They're creating a diversion. Your son is the target. He turns to Alexandra. Where's this safe room? She hesitates, calculating risks. Trust this stranger or rely on standard protocols that have already failed once? Mom, trust him, Ethan pleads, his small hand clutching Jack's sleeve. Another alarm sounds, closer. Basement. Reinforced door behind the wine cellar, she decides. Maternal instinct overriding corporate caution. Get there, now. Jack's voice leaves no room for argument. He turns to Roberts. I need your backup weapon. To Alexandra's surprise, Roberts unholsters a second gun from his ankle, without question, handing it to Jack. Jack checks the weapon with practiced efficiency. Go, I'll cover. As they hurry toward the basement stairs, two masked figures burst through the terrace doors. Jack shoves Alexandra and Ethan forward. Run! The next moments blur into controlled chaos. Jack moves with military precision, engaging the intruders to buy time. His pizza delivery persona vanishes completely, replaced by something lethal and efficient. Alexandra glimpses him taking down one attacker with moves that speak of years of specialized training. Alexandra hustles Ethan down the stairs, hearing gunshots above. The safe room door, disguised vault in the wine cellar, stands open, with Roberts entering the security code. "Mom, Jack is still up there," Ethan cries, his eyes wide with fear. "Roberts will help him," she says, though uncertainty colors her voice. Inside the safe room, monitors display security feeds from throughout the house. They watch as Jack neutralizes one attacker, then disappears from view, hunting the second. "Gertley, back to me." "Moves like my old unit commander," Roberts murmurs, watching the feed. "Special forces, maybe." Alexandra's phone buzzes, an encrypted message from a number she doesn't recognize. "Check your development server. Security breach 3 days ago. Thereafter, the Atlas protocol." "How could anyone know about—" she begins, then freezes as a third masked figure appears on the basement security feed, approaching the wine cellar. "There's another one," she whispers, clutching Ethan to her chest, feeling his heart racing against her own. Roberts draws his weapon, positioning himself between them and the door. The safe room is secure, but the knowledge that someone has penetrated this far unsettles them all. Suddenly, the basement feed shows Jack appearing behind the third intruder. A brief, violent struggle ensues before Jack gains the upper hand, rendering the man unconscious, with a precise chokehold that speaks of professional training. And, while in its meaninglessness, it might as well have seemed. Minutes later, police sirens wail in the distance. Jack's voice comes through the intercom. "Area secure, 3 intruders neutralized." Roberts opens the safe room, weapons still ready. Jack stands in the cellar, breathing heavily, a cut on his cheek bleeding freely. His eyes, however, remain alert, scanning for further threats. "You're hurt," Ethan rushes forward despite Alexandra's attempt to hold him back. Jack winces as Ethan hugs him. "Just a scratch, buddy." Alexandra approaches cautiously, studying this enigma who delivers pizzas yet fights like a professional soldier. "Who are you really?" Jack meets her gaze steadily. "Someone who is in the right place, at the right time." Twice, her eyebrow arches skeptically. Before Jack can answer, Roberts calls from upstairs. "Police are here, and Ms. Blackwood, you need to see this." In the kitchen, one attacker lies zip-tied on the floor. Roberts holds up an ID badge. "He works for DeVries Cybersecurity, your main competitor for the government contract." Alexandra pales. "Thomas DeVries wouldn't risk corporate espionage, let alone kidnapping." "Money makes people desperate," Jack comments, applying pressure to his bleeding cheek with a kitchen towel. Ethan tugs at Jack's jacket. "You saved us again. Are you like a secret superhero?" Jack kneels to Ethan's level. "No heroes here, bud, just people doing what's right." "But how did you know how to fight like that? Can you teach me?" Jack glances up at Alexandra, seeking permission before answering. Something in that deferential gesture softens her stance slightly. "Maybe some basic self-defense someday, if your mom approves." As police secure the scene and paramedics treat Jack's injuries, Alexandra receives another encrypted message. "Internal threat. Trust no one close to you." She looks up to find Jack watching her, his expression unreadable. When their eyes meet, he glances meaningfully at her phone, then subtly shakes his head, a warning not to reveal the message to others present. Later, as Jack prepares to leave with police for another statement, Ethan insists on walking him out. "Will you come back, please?" Jack ruffles the boy's hair. "We'll see, buddy." Alexandra approaches, having made a decision. "Actually, I'd like to hire Mr. Miller temporarily, for additional security." Both Jack and Roberts look surprised. "I'm sure Miller has pizza deliveries to make," Roberts objects, a hint of territorial defensiveness in his tone. "I think we can compensate him better than Pronto Pizza," Alexandra counters, "at least until we understand what's happening here." Jack studies her face, understanding this is more than a job offer. It's a controlled environment to keep him close and discover his secrets. "I'd need to give notice," he says carefully. "I'll handle that. You can start tomorrow, She hands him a business card with her private number handwritten on the back. I have questions. I bet you do, Jack replies with the ghost of a smile. As he walks toward the police car, his sleeve rides up again, revealing more of the tattoo Ethan had mentioned. Not military insignia, as Alexandra expected, but what appears to be a federal agency emblem, partially obscured by scar tissue, as if someone had tried to burn it off. Who is Jack Miller, and why does he seem to be protecting her family? Jack moves through the Blackwood estate with quiet vigilance, his presence both reassuring and unsettling to the household staff. He's traded his pizza uniform for inconspicuous tactical clothing, though he still carries himself with that same alertness Alexandra first noticed at the police station. A week has passed since the attack, and he's seamlessly integrated into the security protocols, working alongside Roberts, with an expertise that raises more questions than answers. In her home office, Alexandra sifts through the background checks she's privately commissioned. Jack Miller's history appears legitimate on the surface. Honorable discharge from the Army, various odd jobs across several states, no criminal record. Yet the timeline has conspicuous gaps, and his military service records are suspiciously sparse. A knock interrupts her research. Come in, she calls, quickly minimizing the screen. Jack enters, maintaining a respectful distance. Perimeter's secure. I've identified 3 vulnerable access points and adjusted the security protocols. Thank you. She gestures to a chair. Please, sit. He hesitates before complying, his posture remaining alert even while seated. The afternoon sun through the window highlights the healing cut above his eyebrow. Alexandra studies him openly. You're not really a pizza delivery person. It's not a question, but Jack answers anyway. I was delivering pizzas when I stopped your son's kidnapping. That part's true. But before that, Jack's expression reveals nothing. Does it matter? You hired me for protection, not my resume. It matters when my son is becoming attached to you. Alexandra leans forward. Ethan lost his father 3 years ago. He's vulnerable to male role models. Something flickers in Jack's eyes, recognition, perhaps pain. I understand your concern. Do you have children, Mr. Miller? The question strikes a nerve. Alexandra sees it in the subtle tightening around his eyes, a micro-expression she's trained herself to recognize during high-stakes negotiations. Had, he says finally, a daughter. The simple word hangs heavy between them. Alexandra waits, allowing silence to draw out more truth, a technique that served her well in the corporate world. Emma, Jack continues after a long pause. She would have been 12 this year. His fingers absently trace a pattern on his wrist, where the partial tattoo remains hidden under his sleeve. I'm sorry, Alexandra says softly. What happened? Jack's jaw tightens. Collateral damage. Wrong place, wrong time. Alexandra recognizes the terminology, military or law enforcement euphemisms for civilian casualties. And her mother? Caroline couldn't handle the aftermath. We divorced 6 years ago. Jack abruptly stands. If there's nothing else, there is. Alexandra opens a drawer and removes a file. This arrived anonymously yesterday. She slides a photograph across the desk. Jack freezes, staring at the image. Himself, in a dark suit, beside a man Alexandra recognizes as FBI Assistant Director Marshall, dated 3 years ago. You were federal law enforcement, she states. Jack remains silent, his stillness confirming her suspicion. Why hide it? Why deliver pizzas when you clearly have valuable skills? His laugh lacks humor. Maybe I got tired of people getting hurt around me. Alexandra presses on. The messages I received during the attack, they came from you, didn't they? How did you know about the security breach? Jack finally sits again, resignation in his posture. I wasn't randomly delivering pizza to your neighborhood that day. I'd been monitoring potential threats to several high-profile tech executives. Why? Because someone's been targeting people connected to the Atlas protocol development. Alexandra stiffens. The Atlas protocol, her company's breakthrough cybersecurity system, was classified information known only to her team and select government officials. You're still working for the government, she realizes. Jack shakes his head. Not officially. I left the bureau after... He doesn't finish, but his hand moves unconsciously toward his scarred wrist. Alexandra fills in gently. Their conversation is interrupted by Ethan bursting into the office, clutching a model airplane. "Jack, look what I made!" The boy stops, sensing the tension. "Am I interrupting?" Alexandra softens her expression. "It's fine, sweetheart. We were just finishing." Ethan approaches Jack eagerly. "Can you help me make it fly better? The wings keep making it crash." Jack examines the model with exaggerated seriousness. "Definitely fixable. But it'll require special tools. You have any tape and scissors in your room?" "Yes." "Come on." Ethan grabs Jack's hand, pulling him toward the door. Jack glances back at Alexandra, seeking permission. She nods slightly. "Dinner's at 7. You're welcome to join us, Mr. Miller." "Jack," he corrects her. "If I'm helping with model airplanes, I think we can drop the formality." Something shifts between them. Not quite trust, but a tentative understanding. Later that evening, Alexandra pauses outside Ethan's room, hearing male laughter, a sound missing from their home since her husband David's death. She peers through the partially open door. Jack sits cross-legged on the floor beside Ethan, their heads bent over airplane models. He demonstrates a careful adjustment to the wing, his hands capable of disarming attackers, now gentle as they guide Ethan's smaller fingers. "My dad was teaching me before he died," Ethan says quietly. "He worked with planes." Jack nods. "He'd be proud of how well you're learning. Did you teach your daughter stuff like this?" Alexandra holds her breath, witnessing Jack's expression transition through pain, remembrance, and something like resolution. "Yeah," he finally answers. "Emma loved building things. She wanted to be an engineer." "What happened to her?" Ethan asks with a child's directness. Jack's answer is measured, honest without burdening Ethan with details. "There was an accident. Some bad people were after me because of my job, and she got hurt." "Is that why you quit being an FBI agent?" Alexandra watches Jack's surprise at Ethan's perception. "Smart kid," Jack murmurs. "Yeah, that's part of why. My dad died in an accident too. Mom says it wasn't anybody's fault, but sometimes I think maybe it was mine for asking him to come home early that day." Jack gently turns Ethan to face him. "Listen to me. Accidents are never the child's fault. Never. Your dad loved you, and nothing about what happened was because of you." The conviction in his voice makes Alexandra's eyes sting with unexpected tears. She recognizes he's speaking to Ethan, but also to himself. Absolution he hasn't granted his own heart regarding Emma. "Do you think they're friends?" Ethan asks. "My dad and Emma, in heaven?" Jack's voice roughens. "I bet they are. Probably building the best airplanes together." Alexandra steps back quietly, struck by the realization that this man, with his dangerous skills and hidden past, might be exactly what her son needs, and perhaps what she needs too. Downstairs, she returns to her research with new determination. If Jack is right about people targeting those connected to Atlas, her entire team could be in danger, including her most trusted advisor and late husband's best friend, CFO Nathan Wells. Her phone buzzes with a text from Nathan. "Security concerns resolved. Moving forward with demonstration tomorrow as planned." Something about the message unsettles her. She opens Jack's background file again, scrolling to a section about his last case before leaving the FBI, an investigation into corporate espionage with suspected foreign intelligence connections. The pieces begin falling into place, forming a picture she desperately hopes is wrong. The demonstration room hums with anticipation. Government officials, military contractors, and Blackwood Technologies' executive team gather to witness the unveiling of the Atlas Protocol, a security system promising to revolutionize critical infrastructure protection. Alexandra stands at the podium, poised and professional despite her private concerns. Jack, now officially introduced as a security consultant, positions himself against the back wall, eyes continuously scanning the room. Their brief eye contact communicates shared wariness. Neither fully trusts the situation. "Atlas represents 5 years of development," Alexandra begins. "Today, we demonstrate not just theory, but functional application." From his corner, Jack notices Nathan Wells watching Alexandra with unusual intensity. The CFO's gaze occasionally drifts to his watch, a nervous tick that triggers Jack's instincts. Nathan had been David Blackwood's best friend, the godfather to Ethan and Alexandra's right hand since her husband's death. His loyalty has never been questioned, until now. Alexandra continues her presentation, navigating through complex technical explanations with practiced ease. The core innovation lies in Atlas's adaptive learning algorithm. The lights suddenly flicker. The presentation screen behind Alexandra glitches momentarily. Nathan Wells steps forward smoothly. Minor technical issue. Please continue, Alexandra. Jack moves casually toward the control room entrance, making eye contact with Alexandra. She barely nods, understanding his concern while maintaining her presentation. As I was saying, the adaptive algorithm creates an impenetrable shield against both known and emerging threats. Inside the control room, Jack finds a technician, rapidly typing commands. "System check?" Jack asks innocently. The young man jumps. "Just fixing a glitch," before Miss Blackwood reaches the demonstration phase. Jack notices a small device connected to the system's USB port. "What's that?" "Mr. Wells had me install it, said it would help with the presentation graphics." Jack's hand moves toward his concealed weapon. "Step away from the console, now." Back in the presentation room, Alexandra reaches the crucial moment. "Let me demonstrate how Atlas responds to a simulated attack." Nathan steps forward again. "Perhaps I should handle this part, Alexandra. The technical elements are quite complex." Alexandra's instincts flare at his unusual insistence. "I've got it, Nathan, but thank you." As she initiates the demonstration, the screen behind her changes, not to the planned simulation, but to a scrolling code sequence that she immediately recognizes as the Atlas core protocols being extracted. "What the?" she begins. The emergency alarms activate. Security doors automatically seal the room. Nathan Wells pulls a gun from inside his jacket. "Nobody move. This will be over in 3 minutes." Gasps and shocked murmurs ripple through the audience. Government officials reach for weapons, only to find the room's security protocols have disabled them. "Nathan, what are you doing?" Alexandra demands, shock and betrayal evident in her voice. "Securing my future," he replies coldly. 5 years watching you take credit for David's work. 5 years being the loyal number 2. Did you think I'd let you sell his legacy to the government for pennies when others would pay millions? The realization crashes over Alexandra. The kidnapping attempt, the attack at my home. That was you? Nathan's smile lacks warmth. Regrettable escalation. If you'd just given up the access codes when asked, Ethan would never have been involved. David would be disgusted by what you've become, Alexandra spits, anger replacing her shock. David was weak, too principled for his own good. Nathan checks his watch again. The extraction is almost complete. Then we'll all take a little trip while the funds transfer. The lights suddenly cut out completely, plunging the room into darkness. Emergency lighting activates seconds later, casting everything in an eerie red glow. Jack emerges from the control room, moving silently through the confusion. Nathan, distracted by the unexpected blackout, doesn't notice Jack's approach until it's too late. A brief, violent struggle ensues. Nathan's military background makes him a formidable opponent, but Jack's specialized training proves superior. They crash into the demonstration table, sending equipment flying. "You're too late," Nathan gasps as Jack pins him down. "The protocol's already being transmitted. My buyers have it." Jack smiles grimly. "You mean this?" He holds up the USB device from the control room. "Your technician was very cooperative after I explained the federal charges for treason." Nathan's face contorts with rage. He lunges desperately, managing to break Jack's hold. He grabs Alexandra, pressing his gun to her head. "New plan. She comes with me as insurance." "Nathan, think about what you're doing," Alexandra says calmly, despite the weapon at her temple. "David trusted you. He made you Ethan's godfather. And I've protected Ethan. I never would have let him be harmed. Like you protected Emma Miller." Jack's quiet question freezes Nathan. Recognition dawns in Nathan's eyes. "Miller. You're John Miller, the FBI agent from the Bristol investigation. The one whose family was collateral damage when your foreign partners tried to silence me," Jack confirms, his voice deadly calm. "Except they got my daughter instead." Alexandra's eyes widen with understanding. The gaps in Jack's history, his presence in her life, not coincidence, but calculated pursuit. "You've been tracking me for 3 years," Nathan realizes. Since the evidence disappeared and you walked free. Since the Bureau buried the case and offered me a generous retirement package to go away quietly. Jack takes a step closer. I followed every lead, every connection. When Atlas resurfaced, I knew you'd make your move. Nathan's grip on Alexandra tightens. So what now, Agent Miller? Revenge won't bring your daughter back. This isn't about revenge, Jack replies. It's about justice. In the momentary distraction, Alexandra drives her elbow hard into Nathan's solar plexus, a self-defense move Jack had taught her during the past week. Nathan doubles over, his grip loosening just enough for her to break free. Jack moves instantly, disarming Nathan with brutal efficiency. Security forces burst through the doors, led by Roberts. Nathan, bloodied but defiant, is handcuffed and led away, shouting accusations and threats. In the aftermath, Alexandra finds Jack standing alone, staring at the USB device in his hand. You used us as bait, she says, anger and understanding warring in her voice. I used Nathan's obsession with Atlas, Jack corrects her. But I never expected him to target Ethan. When that happened, he pauses. The mission changed. It was. Jack meets her eyes directly. Protection. Something I failed at once before. Alexandra's anger softens. Emma's death wasn't your fault. Tell that to Caroline. To my in-laws. To everyone who told me I put the job before my family. His voice is raw with old pain. Is that why you saved Ethan? Some kind of redemption? Jack shakes his head. I saved him because he's an innocent kid, just like I would have saved any child. He hands her the USB drive. Your protocol is safe. My part in this is done. Alexandra realizes he's saying goodbye. What will you do now? What I've been doing, deliver pizzas, live quietly. The ghost of a smile touches his lips. Maybe find a new purpose eventually. Ethan will miss you, she says quietly. It has you. That's what matters. Jack turns to leave, the weight of completed vengeance somehow not bringing the peace he'd expected. Jack, Alexandra calls after him. Emma would be proud of who her father is today. He pauses, her words striking deeper than she could know, before continuing toward the exit. Ethan sits on the front steps, chin resting on his hands, watching the driveway with stubborn hope. Since Jack's disappearance after Nathan's arrest 3 weeks ago, the boy has maintained this vigil whenever not in school. Alexandra watches from the window, heart aching for her son. She's explained as much as she can, that Jack's work was finished, that he helped put away the bad people who threatened them, that sometimes heroes have to move on. But explanations don't fill the void of connection. Her phone rings, the FBI task force investigating Nathan's international connections. Ms. Blackwood, we've confirmed your CFO was working with a foreign intelligence operation, the same group connected to the Bristol case 3 years ago. Has Miller given his statement? She asks, glancing at her son's lonely figure on the steps. Miller? We haven't located him. After he delivered evidence against Wells, he disappeared again. Alexandra isn't surprised. Jack had evaded authorities for 3 years while hunting Nathan. He wouldn't suddenly start cooperating now. After ending the call, she joins Ethan on the steps, wrapping her cashmere cardigan tighter against the autumn chill. He's not coming back, is he? Ethan asks without looking up. Alexandra wraps an arm around her son's shoulders. I don't know, sweetheart. Even say goodbye. Sometimes goodbye is too hard to say. She thinks of Jack's face when he spoke of Emma, the raw grief still evident 3 years later. Especially when you care about someone. Ethan leans against her. Do you think he's delivering pizzas somewhere else? Alexandra smiles sadly. Maybe, or maybe he's figuring out what he wants to do next. Like what? Something that helps people, I imagine. That seems important to him. They sit in companionable silence until Roberts approaches from the house. Miss Blackwood, there's someone at the gate. Says he has a delivery, but it's not on the schedule. Alexandra tenses momentarily. Old fears die hard. Who is it? Robert's expression remains professional, but there's a hint of something like approval in his eyes. Mr. Miller. Says he has something that belongs to Ethan. Ethan jumps up, nearly tumbling down the remaining steps in his excitement. Jack's here. Let him in. Alexandra nods to Roberts. It's all right. Minutes later, Jack's familiar figure appears, walking up the driveway rather than driving. He wears jeans and a simple button-down shirt instead of his pizza uniform or tactical gear. He carries a small box under one arm. Ethan races down the steps, colliding with Jack in an enthusiastic hug that nearly knocks him off balance. You came back. Mom said you might not, but I knew you would. Jack awkwardly returns the hug, his eyes meeting Alexandra's over Ethan's head. Hey, buddy. Sorry it took a while. Alexandra approaches more cautiously. This is a surprise. A good one, I hope. Jack gently disengages from Ethan. I brought something. He hands the box to Ethan. Your dad started building this with you, right? Ethan opens the box to find a model airplane kit, a more advanced version of the one they'd worked on together. Cool. Can we build it now? It's okay with your mom. Jack looks to Alexandra. I should have called first. It's fine, she assures him. Ethan's been watching for you. While Ethan examines the model instructions, Alexandra and Jack step aside for a moment of privacy. The FBI is still looking for you, she says quietly. They'll keep looking, but John Miller died with Emma. His expression is resolute. Jack Miller is just a pizza guy who was in the right place at the right time. And now? Jack glances at Ethan, then back to her. Now I'm figuring out who I want to be next. Alexandra studies him. The tension that had characterized him before seems diminished, as if vengeance fulfilled has lightened some burden. Any ideas? A few. He hesitates. I've been offered a position with a private security firm, consulting work mostly. Nothing field work. Sounds more suitable than delivering pizzas. A genuine smile touches his lips. The tips weren't great. They share a moment of unexpected laughter, breaking the last barriers of formality between them. Will you be staying in Boston? She asks, the question carrying more weight than its simple words suggest. That depends. Jack's eyes hold hers steadily. There's a kid here who needs help with model airplanes, and he pauses, vulnerability showing through his careful composure. I promised someone once that I'd teach them proper self-defense. If those offers still stand, Alexandra feels something unfamiliar, a lightness she hasn't experienced since before David's death. Not romantic love, not yet, but the possibility of beginning again, of trust cautiously rebuilt. Think we could arrange that, she says softly. Jack, come see. This one has a real motor. Ethan calls from where he spread the model parts across the porch steps. Jack glances at Alexandra, seeking permission one final time, not just for the model airplane, but for his presence in their lives. She nods. We're having pasta for dinner. You're welcome to stay. As Jack joins Ethan on the steps, Alexandra watches them together, her son animated and joyful, Jack patient and attentive, two broken hearts beginning to heal through unexpected connection. Sometimes heroes appear in the most ordinary disguises, she reflects, and sometimes saving others is how we save ourselves. The future stretches before them, uncertain but full of possibility, and for today, that's enough.